Sorry. Just kidding. It took me a while. Actually, it didn't take me a while to figure it out, but it took me a while to take the mic off and plug it into another computer. Well, thanks, Cat3. I don't know. It depends. If it's on Friday night, possibly. If it's on a weeknight, if it's on a school night, I got school in the morning. I gotta get some sleep. And let me tell you, I was pretty happy or okay with missing that sale. Just by the way, because it didn't seem like much. Though I did. Both Dana and I purchased something from the sale, but it wasn't any new titles, or at least Dana's might have got a recent title, but nothing major. Did get a few things in. Actually, one thing, I don't know why I was able to get this. Hey, Texas, the Batman 4K steelbook. Darren Burrows, hello. So I had to go pick that up because they wouldn't ship it to me because I was lazy. I wouldn't have cared, but at least I got it. I'm going to try to watch it tomorrow or Monday since we're off. And also I think in the UK they have a banking holiday. Hey, Anthony. Soon. It's not this week, maybe next week. I don't know. I don't know how I know these things. Yeah, I don't need sales. I get I can pay MRSP or whatever the fuck it is, right? Just $59. It's almost like the old MSRP. I can just go in there and get. It's like cassettes back or VHS back in the day. $100. Another movie that I need to watch tonight or soon is the 4K of *Malignant*. And it's still sealed. But yeah, and then tomorrow I'll be watching this probably because I always watch some Asian action or kung fu movies. I got the 88 Films collector's edition of Armor of God with Jackie Chan. Oh, UK's got a 5-day weekend. Well, shit. We need those. We need a 5-day weekend. Actually, the week should only be 2 days, and then the weekend should be 5 days. But anyway, my mic's, this little part right here, I screwed it up really good because I had to take it. I couldn't get it off. And long story short, I still don't know what the problem was, other than there is a knob in here that was turned down, but I know that was from me messing with it. But either way, whatever. I'll definitely test a little bit more now that I've had a problem. But anywho, So one thing I did watch and finished up was the found footage phenomenon documentary on Shudder, and got a couple new titles from there that I hadn't seen. One was called The Charman, and it starts off and you think it's going to be some kind of comedic thing because it's really goofy at the beginning. Hello, Dirk. But they're making a documentary about or a fake documentary or something about a vampire in California or something. But then they hear a local legend about something called the Charman, and they start seeing a bunch of stuff. Red wants to see the Men. Yeah, I'll check it out whenever it's out there. It was a decent documentary, I agree. It was interesting to see some of those guys, like the two leads from The Last Broadcast. This many years later, I didn't know that they actually were the directors of the film or writers or whatever. But there's a lot of titles in there, and I got some of the Asian titles that they mentioned. And there's some on there on Shudder. They have a found footage section, and I can't pronounce it, but it's like Naruku the Curse. That's pretty much the best Japanese found footage movie in my opinion. But anyway, but the Charman was not that great, which you can imagine. It was okay. I'm not saying just the story itself wasn't that in the. Oh, Blair saying Robert Englund is in Stranger Things. Yeah, I haven't even started watching the new season of that yet. I don't know if I'll get maybe tomorrow morning or something, or Monday morning since I'm off. I'll dig into it a little bit. I gotta take this hat off because it's getting hot back here. Dana got me my zombie T-shirt from Fright Rags. Zombie with a shark. She went crazy and like got 5 T-shirts. This one, and then 5 for herself. So someone's got money. Oh, Cat 3 is asking about Human Lanterns. I've seen part of it. I can't even recall if I've seen half of it. But I guess I saw the part where, there wasn't a lot going on. So I can't really. Now I'll tell you one thing that it does look amazing. I don't know what version I have. Maybe it might be HD, but even if it's not, the coloring and everything is just amazing. Their use of color, lights and stuff like that looks amazing. So it's a very good looking film. I mean, I'm sure when the Blu-ray comes out. Also coming out, excuse me, they got a new Blu-ray for Police Story 3 with Jackie Chan. But the other thing is they're coming out with a Police Story trilogy on 4K. So that will be something interesting. Definitely, I'm a big fan of the first and the third. Of course, they called it Super Cop when they released it here, and that's just a damn good movie. It's a lot of action and shit. So, also did order the 4K of Dragons Forever. It showed up on Amazon, yeah, it did, but it's coming out very late in the summer, I think. Didn't like the new Stranger Things season. I don't know, though. I thought the last season was really good. One thing helped a lot is not stretching out the story. So we'll see. No, Anthony, not yet, but I do have a copy of it. I was going to try to watch it this weekend. And no gummies for me. Jack Frost is saying Ebola syndrome commentary. Well, I hear things. Actually, I don't think next weekend I probably won't be on here. There might be something else. I'm not sure if they've nailed down Wes and whoever else has nailed down a time for that. But we're going out of town for a bit, so probably won't be back in time. Or if we are, it'll be just in time, so I better not rush it. I was trying to be lazy today, but I had to go get my oil changed, and then that turned into quite an ordeal of waiting with 2 people in front of me. It still took forever and a damn day. The guy in front of me had his daughter's car, and insanely enough, at a Jiffy Lube, he wanted them. He got a tire rotation and maybe something oil change. I don't know, but then they had to get an air filter, which they charge you at least double of what you can get it anywhere. And they had to order it from somebody had to bring it in from one of the auto places. And then they had to get a lug nut because they must have screwed one up or something. All right, here we go. Apollo is saying, "Hey, done watching Over the Top. I'm ready to arm wrestle you for custody of my son." Well, let me give you a shortcut or a spoiler alert. I'm not a good arm wrestler, so you probably win. You would keep the custody of your son. If not, I would lose on purpose because I don't want to. It might be good, Jack Frost. Do you have a favorite Ricky Schroeder movie? I like the one where he goes in Costco and starts preaching about mass. That's the one I like. Why was the DeadPit Roku channel shut down? You'd have to ask the big guy, but
they shut them all down.
Oh, that's true. I think there was
Yeah, the ones that were made.
I think they went ahead and kind of had a cleansing of these private channels. I think, but because I mean, basically, you could do anything on there. But there are other there's still channels on there that but maybe they were created in a different way. We use something called Insta Channel is what I created it with and stuff, but perhaps they got rid of that. There may be some stuff coming up at some point that might replace it, or I don't know. I mean, here's the thing about Jiffy Lube, and the reason I've been going there is because you can get a Groupon for the synthetic oil change, which sometimes is well over, is like $89, $99, and you can get it for $50. But but they're telling me that I can only use it 2 more times, which is like, okay, then I'll have Dana buy it for me and pay her back so I can get it for more times. I don't understand why you're limiting my use. I'll answer that in a second, Blair. I have an answer for that one. I'm tempted. James is saying he's tempted to get the Camille Keaton Italian Boxer in the cellar. Those movies as bad as everyone says. Well, I'll tell you, the Tragic Ceremony is really, I like that one a lot. I got a DVD of it and actually got her to sign it at a convention because I figured she's probably, everybody brings up a I Spit on Your Grave movie or poster to sign. Yeah, but, I mean, I just think it's a really cool movie. It's very gothic, and stuff. The other 2 movies, the one I saw was not spectacular, but I won't say it's bad. And then there's one called, I think, Sex of the Witches in that, and I haven't watched it all the way through because I watch it late at night and I fall asleep. But it's got some stuff in it, interesting. So I mean, I think I can't guarantee that you'll like it, all 3 of them, but I think Tragic Ceremony's good. You might try to see if you can find it online. And the other 2, like I say, the first one we watched was not really a horror movie. It was more of a psychological movie where she was married to an older guy, started having affairs and stuff. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I would definitely reach out and watch a bunch of reviews or something just before, unless you don't want to take a chance. Did I ever sneak a beer into the movies? Absolutely. I think once. I saw Ernest Scared Stupid, and I had a big trench coat on and had like 2 or 3 beers or 2 beers in each pocket or something. I was already drunk, and I tell you what, that made that movie a lot better. But a phantasmat. But yeah. Now I don't eat anything or drink anything because, first of all, the shit's so expensive. I'm not going to spend a lot of money. The last time I bought anything, there was one that had like a hot dog for $4 or something. I thought that was reasonable, even though, and it was a pretty, I was actually trying to get a hot dog at some point. For some reason, I was craving a hot dog, so I got a hot dog. Let me find my cursor. Hello? There it is. My cursor. Dana's back here for some reason.
I'm looking.
Whoop. I think the Forgotten Jolly Set 3 might be I have to look at it again to make sure. Bad Boys 2. That'll make you drink. The only one I don't have, I think, is the second one of the Jello sets. And it's like with French Sex Murders and some others. And I already have a Mondo Macabre DVD of that. And it's okay, but it's not like, it's kind of goofy, but it's still, I like it, but I don't know. At some point when they come down on sale, get a little cheaper, I might get it. So, what the fuck is this? Is this just a slipcover, or I don't understand why they came out with a separate slipcover. Yeah, Murder Mansion. Yeah, Phantasm Mike. That's a good one. Ooh. Oh my. That's interesting, Apollo. Yeah, Murder Mansion, and I believe Autopsy is in that. So it's a really good set. And that Murder Mansion, I've tried to get several different versions of that, and it always looks horrible. And then, man, it looked pretty damn good in that. Yeah, I would probably watch it on Tubi. I would not be spending money, but you never know. It's not terrible. The old Annie Lee's. And I'm a fan of, I like Miami Connection, but come on, man. $43 and then $45 for Cloak and Dagger. But I can't recall what I spent on Beastmaster, so whoa. You almost got to my weight. 180 pounds. Jeez. I like the packaging of Cloak and Dagger, and I'm actually intrigued to see the movie again. It used to be on, the cable channels and stuff all the time. But, yeah, not for that price. Well, there are several websites, Apollo, for at least the imaging and stuff. And that guy, was it Papa's Video Dungeon that I know Wes has had on his channel and stuff, and he has a channel on YouTube. He had somebody make some custom slipcovers, so you may want to look over his videos. I think the guy was on Instagram or something, so you might be able to get some made. Honestly, I would be horrible at making these, so I would let somebody else make them. But one movie that I did buy, the only movie I did buy, has a really bad slipcover, but I got it anyway. So I'm not interested in any of these. Dana did purchase the Stanley Horror High double feature because she likes the Snake movie. But man, I would have been pissed if I had ended up getting scared to death in Voyage of the Rock Aliens. No thanks. That's why I'm not buying something unless you tell me what the hell I'm buying. Well, let me tell you what I think of the Taboo box. It rotates. I heard that they were saying that was going to be it, but then everybody's going, no, they're not going to do that. But then they did. I don't know why you would want, okay, I've seen Taboo, and I might have seen Taboo 2 at some point, because I remember the weirdness of the films about the incest and stuff, and I'm not sure who gets off on that, but anyway. But whatever. But I did see. Is this sold out? Yeah, I figured it would be. But you can get the cassette, maybe, right? Can you get the cassette? There's no way. Oh no! You're telling me someone bought all the cassettes? New York Ninjas, the VHS has still got to be there, right? Yeah. Yeah, Darren, I did too. I got one movie, and it's an older title. And I think it was, at least with the slipcover, it was down pretty low. I did get this pen for some reason. I just, for some reason, thought it was interesting. It looks like it opens up and shows. So, I got that. Death Wish 2, I need to read some reviews and see if it's wow, I like that one. If it's worth the transfer and everything. If you hadn't gotten this is a good title. 2 movies. Big fan of Slaughterhouse Rock. I like the music in it and everything. Devo did the music, and then the movie I hadn't seen, Hard Rock Zombies, is insane. So definitely worth the money there. Wow, New York Ninja was on TCM Underground. That's insane. I did watch the documentary about them making it and all the voice actors and stuff. That was pretty cool. I didn't know that dude was in all kinds of like old school martial arts movies. That blew me away. So I mean, stuff like this. I mean, this price right here, that's kind of what I would probably. I think I don't even know how much I paid for this, but I know I didn't pay $50. But $33 is pretty good for a 4K of something like that. They're making Young Guns 3. Well, I don't know about the young anymore, if they're going to have the other people. Let me see. I forgot what's in this. Even though, oh, yeah. This is a good one. Mainly, Sister of Ursula is like a really sleazy giallo, and it's really fun. The other titles are pretty good, so it makes it worth whatever that money. Ebola virus. I don't know why they discounted it that much, but definitely worth the price. God damn, I gotta turn this computer off. Let me turn my secondary computer off because it's the fans going ape shit. Trauma looks really good, and of course I think this version is like unique or something. I think then maybe Felcher or somebody put a scene in or some extensions or something. I can't recall. I still didn't get this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe next time if it lasts. Primetime Panic. I don't know. I'll look into that here in a second. There's the Camille Keaton. Madeline was the one that I watched. Tragic Ceremony, like I said, that's the one I really like. And then Sex of the Witch is pretty sleazy. Yeah. There's some 10 minutes of additional long lost sex in a casket or something. I think I might have that somewhere, but yeah, I've heard of the work print, but geez. It's like the work print of Texas Chainsaw 3, where they put in some of these scenes they cut out, and the scenes they cut out with gore and stuff was pretty good. Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy, some of these movies of how they who some of these movies they'd have to really do some investigation of finding it. It has 3 TV movies. I heard some people like really dogging on Alley Cat. I liked Alley Cat. I just think it's a very it's got everything in a kitchen sink exploitation movie. Yeah, they used to show that one on TV quite a lot. They call me Mr. Tibbs, and then I think there's another one, or it was either the first. That's the second one or the third one's called like The Organization. And but the movie that I bought was Nightmare Weekend, and just because of how insane it is, let's see, you got the little puppet. Hey, John. And then, like I said, I don't know about this cover, but maybe one of these days when it finally sells out, I will. Maybe I could sell it for somebody who really digs. And here, is it just Slaughterhouse or Slaughterhouse Rock? Yeah, in the heat of the night, yeah. I'm not a big fan of Labyrinth. I guess he did. But the best slipcover of all time is Summer Camp Girls. Uh-oh, I think I got dogs. See, there was some... Oh, shit. Jesus. Oh. Well, they just showed Slaughterhouse on Joe Bob last night. I was going to try to watch it, but for some reason, when you play it in my living room and you go in and play it in the bedroom, it wants to start all over again. I don't understand why that is. Yeah. Muzzle him. Yeah. Reggie and Sammy, the loud makers. Yeah. So this one interested me is Shogun Samurai. Sorry. This used to be a TNT late night staple, and they act like there's not. There is a dub of it, so I don't know why. Maybe it's really edited. Axel Foley's in the house. Play the doop 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 boop 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 boop. So, what was the other movie, Dana, last night? Tenebrae, Darren. I know you like that. So, maybe they'll have that on back on Shudder tomorrow. I don't know. Here's the thing. I mean, whoa. Oh, so this is not the limited version. This is the other version. So I could have just got, instead of spending $50, I could have got this for $35. Okay. But, oh well. I'll send you the links when I find them there, Darren. Actually, it's the same link I sent you before whenever the dude uploads it. So whenever you could just check it over the next couple of days. It'll probably be at least tomorrow or Monday. Have you gotten a? No, but I think no, I haven't gotten no Apollo. I haven't gotten that. But that does sound familiar. That I may have had that somewhere. Oh, I can't search in here. I know I watched something weird. No, I don't think I've seen that one. I must have saw something else that kind of similar. Well, at least it had a female lead. Flatliners. Bonnie Gloin. There was one. Oh yeah, Righting the Wrongs. I watched that the other day, and I thought that I had seen this, but I hadn't. And man, I mean, it's a really action-packed movie, but man, it's brutal. And it's got the kid who grew up to be Ricky O in it, and he's like a little skinny kid. And I was like, I can't believe that was like, this Ricky freaking O. That's another movie I need to get because I don't have a physical copy of. I think I got a DVD of it.
Ooh, I have that.
Yes, Dana. Ow. What the fuck? I had a bunch of those. Not the blue. They were DVRs, but not. I was listening to there's a Severin puts out a podcast. It's an Apple podcast, so you can get it that way. But they had some dude from Vinegar Syndrome on there talking, so I thought that was interesting. Talking about the Dennis Ray Steckler set, which is like, are you insane? I need to watch some of that, Apollo. I got this weird one. I forgot what it's called, but it's like the third kind of version or kind of rip off or something where the girl has like a grenade, like a rocket launcher. It's something Commando, but I keep on. There's a Roku channel called B Zone, and they were showing some of the episodes of that, but I never actually watched them. But sometimes I would see it on Facebook and to see pictures of it. But I've heard of it, but never watched any of it. Of course, that sounds insane, but I mean, you know, slasher edition, homegrown horror slasher. What? Some Jess Franco. Oh. I don't know. Secret and Mutilated I might be interested in because it is a crazy movie. Super Cop, that's what I was talking about. From Eureka. But, I mean, the thing is, I mean, I guess this is special edition. Maybe it's going to be a little bit different than the 4K version. But, see, that's what I mean. Well, John, it depends. Do I sell my Blu-rays when I get the 4Ks? Sometimes I'm just like, I'm not going to get anything out of them. We used to take our movies to a place where you could you would like book and music exchange where you can you bring a bunch of movies in. They'll give you they'll write up a value, and usually would take store credit, and you could get anything you wanted, you know, just with the trade-in value. But we haven't done that in a while. I don't know. I'm thinking this might be the way I'm going to go. But it comes out in September. It's like $70 something, $76 on on Amazon. No, on Deep Diabolic. Well, on here it's 65 pounds, which definitely is more than what you would pay. Let me see if there's a dog out here. Reggie! Ray! Good boy! Come here, boy! Get out of here. Dirk saying he grabbed Beastmaster, Spookies, Christmas Evil, Incubus, and Ebola Syndrome. All top-notch picks. Ebola Syndrome is... it's hard to pick a crazy Cat 3 movie, but it's damn up there. So I'm gonna probably order this next month because it's coming out in September. Ooh, that's I never heard of that, James, but those days are over. Incubus is kind of an insane movie. I used to watch it on CBS late night movie on Friday or something, Saturday, and it was crazy. But obviously edited it. Wow. Yeah, Vinegar or Fade to Black. I think that might have sold out. Yeah, it's definitely best to save up. Sometimes you can miss out, but other times you might get them. You can get a little bit cheaper. I'm going to definitely... Now, yeah, the 4Ks, yeah. So the good thing about 4K is it's a region free, but Alien Madness, Silent Madness. I'm assuming Alexander, Flesh Eating Mothers. I can't, but Silent Madness is a interesting. It's 3D. But it is very ghosted. If you have a 3D TV, you can watch it. But I wasn't a big fan of Silent Madness. But is Super Cop 2 with Michelle Yeoh worth a watch? In my opinion, yes. It's just her as the main character, and I think Jackie Chan shows up for like a couple minutes in like a cameo role for I don't know if he really get into eats much other than that. Wow, that's a pretty killer set if you didn't already have all the... But let's be honest, I don't want any of the new ones. That last Rambo movie I did not like that one at all. I thought it was horrible. Oh, John, you missed out on the Champagne and Bullets. I think that movie is going to become a little bit more of a thing. A big cult thing in the future. Dirk's asking if I'm a no slip, no buy guy. Not really. If it's a really good slip case or slip cover, I might be a little bummed. But, to me, the main thing is the movie itself. Sometimes, damn, what was that movie? Oh, and then sometimes the extras are better than the movie. Like there's the Vampire in Venice that Severin put out, and they have a documentary like the I guess the later life of Klaus Kinski, and to me that was better than the movie. And so that was like sometimes there are things that the extras are worth it. The movie itself is goofy and okay, but it's really weird. But the documentary was really worth the money for me. since it was almost, I think it was a feature length. I can't recall the length, but I think it was close, if not exceeding 80 minutes, I think. And a lot of these things, I mean, the 4Ks are of some of these movies that I'm definitely gonna get this at some point, but I'm not rushing out. I'm waiting for the Kino Lorber sale of the next few months. But man, I spent 30, 20, 27, 30 bucks on this. I did not like Tenet. I just did not like it. All these things are really good prices. I have yet to watch Psycho on 4K, but Dana's got her the Steelbook when it first came out, so I want to really check into that soon. Maybe tomorrow. I'm trying to cram in shit tomorrow. I ran around like crazy today because we had to take Brandon to the vets and oil change. I had to go to Walmart. And Dana wanted to go eat out at a German restaurant, so we went there, and I didn't get to mow the grass, so the grass is going to be waiting for me tomorrow unless it rains. So now they got steelbooks of the Indiana Jones movies. Indiana Jones. I put in the most recent Blu-rays of these that came out, and I was surprised of how good it looked. So I'm not really sure if I need to upgrade. John, the one thing I remember at the Octagon, isn't that at the beginning where he's just like talking and it all echoes and shit, and it's like it's so lame, but the movie is really good. Oh. Yeah, Rear Window and that. Especially, damn, some movies I wish you could just rent in 4K, but I guess you can, but, I'm not gonna. But yeah, the Spider-Man movie of the 70s TV show, I can still remember the theme song. I thought that was the coolest shit ever when I was 7 or 8. There's Dragons Forever. What? Oh shit, that's why I ordered. I forgot it was cheap. It's like under $30. Comes out in September. No? August. No? Yes. Be a late summer treat. I got the Blu-ray. The thing, I've heard somebody talk about comedies, and really a DVD with a comedy is probably good enough, but I got it on Blu-ray. I didn't get it on DVD, but I'm definitely not going to be upgrading that. Yeah. This is Africa's got some kind of thing, but I think it's in person, ain't it? Or when is it? 5/20. Oh, it's expired. I guess I missed. Oops. Oh well. Some Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber is the sales king, so far. I'm not interested in this. I'm all Friday the 13th out. But Dana will probably get it. I started watching this show, but I only watched the first episode, but never got into it enough to keep watching it. But maybe at some point. Ooh, yes. Well, those films are almost insanely politically incorrect. Even just at the time. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when that's what they were assuming, and the dub probably doesn't help. But yeah, yeah, but I mean, I think that might have been the last time you could see something like that. And really, it's just an insane premise now. But I mean, I don't really see it as being that offensive because that's part of the joke of the character he's playing, and it's of how maybe egotistical and pompous an actor like that would be, that think they could just put on black makeup and be a black guy. Mm. I think I've went back in time too far. I actually looked on here and trying to figure out some things. There's Human Lanterns. Contraband was pretty good. It is a policey kind of mob movie, but it was directed by Fulci, and at some certain, like, I guess the third act or so, it becomes in a gore fest. So it's pretty good in that fashion. I like the movie overall. It had an interesting ending, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Blazing Saddles, something that insane could never get made, which I don't know, but hello there, Blurford. Happy holidays, Blurford the Hobbit. Oh hell yeah, a new Seagal movie. I started watching Violent City the other day, and it's like I think I said it was at the beginning. It was like it's Bronson and his wife Jill Ireland. It was like a vacation video. It was I was like, man, and then I switched it over to Contraband. Ooh, oh, it's not in stock. I'm not in. I don't want Fistful of Dollars. I want it for a few dollars more. That was my favorite of the three. I know Good and the Bad, Ugly, but I like that a lot. Ooh, ripping off an ear. If you're a big fan of this, which I am, I got the big set that Dana got me a couple years ago. $29 or $30 for this series is crazy good. Though you can get a lot of these episodes on YouTube for free. Though they do look a lot better on DVD. Sadness, insane movie. Definitely recommend that. Yeah. If you're a Cat 3 movie, this would definitely be a Cat 3 movie if, of course, I think it was made in Taiwan. This one's a fun movie too. Virgins of the Seven Seas. Oh, I'm not a big Wild Things. I mean, I'll be honest. I'd like to watch it again on 4K, but I don't want to purchase it. So that's kind of like, And if you're talking, I like movies that are insane. Well, I hope you were wearing some thick underwear or something. Oh, damn. This movie's taking a lot of load. Did my internet go poo poo in the pee pee? Let's see. What? It's German. And I don't know if that's the original language or not, but yeah, well, Yes, it is. It's Hong Kong and Germany. A couple you see, escape, teaching them kung fu. So yeah, it's a it's a crazy film. I thought it was fun, and now it's out on Blu-ray. Well, Matt, possibly. It depends on scheduling and the date. But I mean, I would definitely partake. Oh shit! I'm not a big fan of Satan's Blade. I just didn't think there was much there. Frankenstein's Lunch. Oh, flunk. I like to see this version of 1984 with Peter Cushing. There's a documentary about him. It's basically he talked to some guy or fan or something for in like was it 86 or something, and he was just going to talk to him for like 10 minutes or so, but Peter Cushing was like, kept talking. It was like over an hour, and they made a documentary with that audio and stuff. But I started watching it, but man, it looked good. What I watched was fun to watch and continued. Wish I continued to watch it, but I didn't. I watched whatever was on my television, and then obviously rented a bunch of the Shaolin Kung Fu movies. Definitely, there's a YouTube channel called Wu Tang or something, Wu Tang Collection, and there's tons of these of lesser known ones, but kind of iffy transfers. But but I watched whatever I could. And there's somebody put one on there they took from USA Network's Kung Fu Theater, which was kind of cool. Yeah, Peter Cushing's, and then also wasn't I think Christopher Lee's birthday is now or was in the last few days or coming up or something. Girl with a Straight Razor. That sounds interesting. Woo! Holy moly, we got 28 people in here. That may be some type of record. Well, if we're going to wait. Let's see. Oh, Christopher Alexander. He made, yeah, this Queen of Blood was just, I could not believe what the fuck that was about. Have you ever seen that? That is just, to me, oh my God, it's horrible. But, so that pretty much leaves out that I would not take a chance on that movie. Price and Lee. Yeah, because I did definitely seen a lot of posts about their birthdays, or, Wormwood Apocalypse was pretty good, but it was I mean, that movie came out, the first movie came out, oh my God, was it 6, 7 years ago? And they just made the sequel. Yeah, like Dirk says, hit that like button. Click the bell for notifications. Because, you can bet. Oh. Yeah, I remember seeing Kung Pao a little bit. It's like, man, I don't know what's going on with this balls. It's almost like I'm on dial up. I'm gonna watch Wicked City. I've been aiming to watch Wicked City soon. That's another one for the pile. And then there's a sequel. Like, I forgot what it's called, but I have that as well. I need to watch that. Go for it, Red. I don't want to give you my email. So you can get your $288. Come on now. You want this. You get a Hall of Fame pin, a Clash frag. Look at that. Real eyebrows. I just think Wicked City was awesome. I saw it on we used to have a big satellite dish in our backyard, and there was something called Network One. It was some weird station that had a lot of anime and bikini contests. So I was like, okay. But the thing about Wicked City on there was it was censored. They had fuzzy parts over some of the stuff. So, yeah, I would say there's certain characters. There were some similarities to the thing. Look at that. You get a cap. I mean, I don't know, guy. I just don't think the movie. What release is coming out? Are you mostly? I don't know, really. It's dope. I don't know. It's definitely crazy looking. I don't know if there's anything. I mean, definitely the Police Story trilogy on 4K is something that I'm looking forward to now. But yeah, I don't know. Horror wise, I'm not sure. Yeah. Now they did make a Wicked City live action movie, and that is insane. So if you hadn't seen that, it was just I can't definitely some Hong Kong wire. Like they used a lot of Hong Kong people in it as far as behind the scenes for all the crazy stunts and wire work they had to do. Dana Lynn, you want to come back here for your part? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of those movies. I do like the one that was on Mystery Science Theater, the incredibly strange creatures who gave up living and became zombies or something. Whatever the fuck it was. And the Boggins, holy moly. Oh yeah, they became mixed up zombies or something. But 20 films. Oh Lord. That's 63. It looked like it would be. I don't know. Let's take a look. Kadog. Let's find it. Oh yeah, I wanted to. Well, shit. Let's just do a search. F this. Ooh, yep, it is Kadog. It is sold out, but it might be available without the slipcase somewhere else. Like, let's see. Let's see. Nope, they're out, but maybe somewhere else. So do you want me to take away this and go full cam?
I guess.
Dana's going to be wearing each one of her 4 shirts from Fright Rags tonight.
No. I'm
The
gonna
Thrill
put
Killers, yeah.
I'm going to be putting on my Joe Bob Lounge pants.
Well, I'm burning up,
Later.
so.
It's warm back here.
It is. It's really warm. All right, Dana Lynn is going to bring it home for you. About, about 30, 40 minutes or so.
Look at this. Steve puts me on
Alright,
limitation.
go all night. Dana's going all night.
No, I'm not going to go all night.
All night.
No, I said I was going to take a relaxing bath. Here, a little bit.
All night. Reggie Brown.
Is it going to be all night long like Lionel Richie?
Yes.
Okay. I was sitting back there while Steve was doing his thing, and I was thinking about, well, what do I want to talk about? Because I really don't like to get on here and just kind of ramble. As I've said before, I usually like to have some sort of theme to what I'm doing. Hey, Darren. So Steve's gonna kill himself. And I'm looking at his Caligula coin or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I still have no idea why he got that, and I have no idea why he got the Peep Show token either. I don't know. What are you gonna do with those things?
Well, I don't even know where it's at now.
What's your Peep Show token? I don't know where that's at.
Oh, you made me think about it now. I want to know where it's at.
Oh, God. Now he'll be back here bothering me. But anyway. Hey, Scott. Maybe it ain't even in here. Maybe it's... Steve's going to go punch somebody in the face now.
I got my Phantom ring. I have a drill bit. No, that's not a drill bit.
Okay, but anyway, this is very distracting.
Is it?
Texas wants to call me the horror queen, but ow.
Coming soon to Danny's Teespring, we're gonna, or whatever it's called, we're gonna put out the Jallo Queen shirt that I've been working on. Or
no, it's T Public.
T Public.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna say The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about You Won't Be Alone, Macedonian movie. What's that?
Let's do an in-depth conversation about that. I know you've seen it a few times. Go ahead.
I have not.
Okay.
Dirk, you're asking if I'm going to get the game. Are you talking about the the Evil Dead game? I do want to get that. I just haven't gotten around to doing that. As you can see, I've been spending tons of money on Fright Rags t-shirts. I've got my Texas Chainsaw Massacre one on tonight. But yeah, if you're talking about the Evil Dead game, I do believe that I will eventually get that. I've got to go, not that you guys are going to be really interested in this, but I just made a purchase of a 75-gallon aquarium with stand, because it was a pretty good price, because usually when you get the aquariums and stands, they're a pretty hefty price tag, and this one was more in my price range. I wasn't wanting to spend $500 or $700 or $1,000 or anything like that. And this one looks good, and I think that the stand's gonna look good when that. I don't know if Steve mentioned anything about us getting our new flooring put down in a few weeks. But I think this is going to look good with our new flooring. But anyway, the 75-gallon aquarium is going to be for my bearded dragon, who's right now he's in a 40-gallon. And I don't know if any of you have bearded dragons or know of somebody that has a bearded dragon, but they always tell you initially when you're looking up information on bearded dragons that you can put them in like a 20 gallon when you first get them when they're small, and possibly even a 10 gallon. But then when they get full size, you need to have them in a 40-gallon breeder tank. But I just feel like even that is like, because I would even like to have a bigger tank for my snake, for my ball python, but he's not like, he comes out at night and crawls around, my snake does. But for most of the day, he's curled up inside one of his little dens, staying warm and stuff. And I fed him last night, and so he's kind of been, chilling. And digesting his food, because anybody that knows anything about snakes knows that once they eat, it could take them several days to get that digested, and so it's better just after you feed them to just leave them alone. But the point I'm getting to is the snake is not nearly as active as the bearded dragon is. The bearded dragon is mostly active all day through the day, whereas the snake, in the 40 gallon, he seems to be happy in a 40 gallon. I may, get him up to a 50, 55 gallon at some point. But I just kind of feel bad for Ernie, my bearded dragon. I just feel like he needs more space. And I feel bad that my first bearded dragon, I didn't give him that ultimate space. I just thought, well, what the heck? I'll just get this 75-gallon aquarium with a stand, and then he may on down the road I may want to increase it a little bit, but there's only so much space you can utilize, depending on the square footage of each person's house. And to be honest, I love our little house, but it doesn't have a lot of square footage, so a 75-gallon might be as far up as I could go. I know some people have put their bearded dragons in 100-gallon aquariums, but I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to go up that high. But anyway, that is a kind of mid-sized purchase that I made. And so it may, I may want to wait for another paycheck or something to get that game. I know that was a long story to get to the point about that. Let's see. Scott, you want to know what I think of Joe Bob this season? I'm liking it so far, except, and I said this before. I said this maybe last week or the week before, when I was on the tail end of Steve's show. Excuse me. That I'm not a big Black Sunday fan. I'm not a big Barbara Steele fan. And the way Joe Bob talked about her, she was kind of a prima donna anyway. And kind of like acted like a spoiled child on the set of many movies. So, maybe she's changed. Maybe she was just young and, just really kind of was spoiled. Maybe somebody had spoiled her and she just expected that all the time. But, I mean, Joe Bob said she made some outrageous claims. Like she was convinced that Bava was able to see under her clothes with some camera that he had created. That just seems to me very over the top and outrageous. But, Steve's a huge fan of Barbara Steele. He actually met Barbara Steele at a convention a few years back, or several years back actually. And, but there've been, like Black Sunday, I just did, I didn't understand the allure or the attraction or whatever of showing that one. But for the most part this season, I have enjoyed his picks. I especially enjoyed the picks last night, which I know Steve already mentioned that to you guys. Um, he showed Slaughterhouse, which I was very surprised that they actually showed that. And then to top it off, you had Tenebrae as the second feature. Unfortunately, as I've said before, since I started the new job, I've been dozing off early, so I kept dozing off during Tenebrae. I managed to, stay pretty alert during Slaughterhouse, and I really, really wanted to stay awake for Tenebrae. It's not like I haven't seen Tenebrae a million times, but it is an Argento movie that I like really well. Dirk, you say Evil Dead game is awesome, but I'm talking that TCM game is coming also. Oh, yeah, I think Steve did say something about that. Or somebody did, because that did jog my memory. Yeah, I would like to have that one as well. And probably will be looking into purchasing that. Dirky said those shirts are kick ass. Yeah, the Fright Rag shirts are definitely kick ass. I mean, I like a lot of different t shirt companies. Um, I will always stand by T shirt Joe. I like his stuff that he does. Um, but I don't know. I guess what happens to me a lot of times is, and I'm not saying that Joe's poor at marketing. He's definitely not. But he's a little bit more, in my opinion, low key than Fright Rags. Because Fright Rags, like if you join their email, or subscribe to their mailing list, they send you text and emails and stuff like that. And then I see these shirts and I'm like, oh, well, I want to get that. And then I get on their site and I find 3 or 4 other shirts that I want while I'm there. Plus, they also had the last drive-in lounge pants on sale, and for $20, and I got some of those. Um, but Dirk, you say I used to have a male and female iguana named them Bonnie and Clyde. I built my habitat out of plexiglass and wood. Yeah, Dirk, I actually have an iguana too, Toby, who's named after Toby Hooper, of course. And Steve was nice enough to, not without him getting upset a little bit when he was building it, but he was nice enough to put together a really large enclosure that basically takes up one whole wall in our back room. This room was once a bedroom, and uh, so it's become the mini zoo, as we affectionately like to call it now, because my snake Ash is back there. Toby the iguana is back there. I have some rats back there. I only have 4 rats now. And 2 guinea pigs are back there. And that's also where Sammy and Reggie's crates are at. When we're gone to work or gone for any length of time, they have to go in their crates because both Reggie and Sammy are very destructive to things in the house if they're left to their own devices. So that's why we affectionately call that the mini zoo. Um, but yeah, I love all my animals. Actually, one of my parakeets, Joxer, who was named after, of course, Ted Raimi's character in Xena Warrior Princess, actually passed away recently. And Steve thought that it would make me feel better and kind of ease the pain of losing one of my parakeets, to take me to PetSmart and let me pick out another one. And so I did this time, and I got a yellow, mostly yellow parakeet. And I don't think I've ever had a yellow parakeet. And he's named Kane, and not after Kane the wrestler. I think Wes put some kind of joking thing where he had an I guess like an animated thing of Kane the wrestler, but actually he's named after Kane Hodder. So I have Joe Bob and Kane as my birds, but let's see. And Dirk, that is a good idea actually to use plexiglass. I eventually want to put plexiglass on the doors of Toby's enclosure, because as you more than likely know, that having that plexiglass on there helps retain the humidity that the iguanas need. So I can keep his humidity up pretty good. But he does have basically chicken wire on the doors, and there's another reason I would like to put plexiglass on both sides of the doors. Really, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get that money together, because plexiglass is really expensive. And when you're putting it on these big doors, it can get kind of pricey, depending on the thickness of the plexiglass that you want to get. But I'd really like to have it on both sides of the door, because Toby has this bad habit of climbing on his doors and then, I guess, sliding his nose on that chicken wire, and he scraped his mouth or his nose area 2 or 3 times, and bless his heart. I mean, it looks good now, but I'm just waiting for the next time that he decides he's gonna tackle that door again. Jason, you say to me her best film is Castle of Blood, if you've seen that one. I don't think I have. I have heard of it. I'm almost sure Steve has seen it, though. Apollos, you say Baba would have died a millionaire if that camera was real. Yeah, really. And I think he told Barbara Steele as much, that, hey, I don't have a camera like this. If I did, I wouldn't be, making movies. I'd, probably be retired or whatever. John, you say, what's your favorite label, Dana, of the Blu-ray boutiques and the big companies? Oh, gosh. Well, John, that's a very good question, but unfortunately, that's another one of those that I have a hard time picking a favorite, because as soon as I'll say one of them's my favorite, because maybe I've gotten something recently from this boutique label, and they're just at the top of my list that time. And then, then somebody else will come out with something. But I do like a lot of Arrow stuff. I will say that. And I don't know if you guys consider Diabolic DVD to be a boutique label. But what I like about Diabolic is, one, they break street date. So sometimes you can get stuff earlier. 2, sometimes they have things in stock that nobody, if you can catch it early enough, that nobody else has in stock. If you don't mind paying that extra shipping charge, I think it's like $5 shipping. But, Arrow's probably one of my favorites, but that's not to say that Vinegar Syndrome and Synapse and Severin and all these other companies don't tickle my fancy too when it comes to certain movies. So, people are going to laugh at this, but you guys all know how I am about titles such as Terror on Tour. And, whichever company decides or is able to get that property and make a Blu-ray, or even better, a 4K, a reality for me, maybe with some cool special features, they're definitely going to be at the top of my list for a long time to come. John, you say Vestron is your favorite. Probably, I do like. I like several releases that Vestron has put out. Scott, you say I only know about Hitman T-shirt Joe's Fast Custom Shirts because of the old Dead Pit commercial. Yeah, I think, I mean, Joe was more than likely doing good business in Corpus Christi prior to Dead Pit having a connection with him, but that was the first I heard of him. Probably he was pretty popular locally in Texas, but it definitely helps to expand your group of potential buyers to have somebody that is popular, and we all know Dead Pit is popular, to pick up on your stuff, what you're doing. I know back when I was doing the blood type magazine, the fanzine, it really helped that Dead Pit mentioned my stuff, because I got more subscribers whenever I let them know about my fanzine, and then they let other people know about my fanzine, and then it just kind of took off from there. Phantasm Matt, you said there are a lot of good bootleg t-shirt sellers on Instagram that I follow, at least 10. Yeah, and sometimes people want to look down on people that they consider bootleg shirt sellers, but let's think about it. Aren't almost all of these t-shirt sellers kind of like in that bootleg group? I mean, because really, to me, only places like Fright Rags actually license the stuff. Maybe I'm wrong, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but they always, I'm not saying they're tooting their own horn or blowing their own horn or whatever, but they do say officially license Evil Dead merchandise, Texas Chainsaw merchandise, or whatever. And a lot of these other companies don't say that. Including, this is not my own company, but I use T Public, and a lot of other people use T Public, because they do the legwork for you of actually making the shirts. Now, I have not been able to, I'm not going to get rich selling t-shirts through T Public, because they really basically only give me maybe $2 a shirt, and then they take the rest for overhead costs and things of that nature. So and if they didn't have them priced the way they have them priced, I don't even think the end user would see that $2. But I actually, in all honesty, I'm making more money through my Etsy shop than I am T Public, because I've sold some pint glasses, sold some candles, sold some stickers, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Etsy does take out their share of money. They have all these little fees and stuff, but I just feel like that if I would have to say which, T Public or Etsy, which one I'm really making a profit on, I would definitely have to say Etsy. Because, I'm not fully in the black with Etsy, but I'm closer than T Public. And I'm actually wanting to, make my own t-shirts. I've got to get a heat, like one of those heat presses or heat transfer presses or whatever, but I'm not quite there yet. On down the road I may get one and kind of experiment around and see if I can make my own shirts, and hopefully I won't be as limited as I am by having somebody like T Public make the shirts. I mean, I'm not going to say that I might not make a shirt and might get a cease and desist letter and have to, stop doing it. I know there, one of my new coworkers at Stockyards, she said her mom makes little miniatures and makes books and little miniature books and stuff like that. And she was making some Harry Potter type little miniature books at one time, and basically got a cease and desist letter and had to stop making those in particular. So, it could still happen, even using something like Etsy. But, I'm hoping that I'll have a little bit more freedom and a little more wiggle room. But sorry I got off on that. But sometimes when, you start talking about one thing, it makes you think about other things and maybe other things that you're selling and thinking about. Darren, you say, I really like Barbara Steele and Silent Scream. Such an underrated slasher, in my opinion. I'm glad you brought up Silent Scream, Darren, because if I would have to say my favorite film that Barbara Steele is in would be Silent Scream, because I did actually like that movie. I'm still not a fan of Barbara Steele, but if I had to pick a favorite movie that she's in, I would have to say that would be it. Sean, you say Severn has the best logo. Severn does have a pretty cool logo. Dirk, you say, I like Fright Rags, Gutter Garbs, and Cavity Colors, but I buy mostly from Fright Rags. Yeah, I've seen some cool stuff from both Gutter Garbs and Cavity Colors. Actually, speaking of shirts, Steve and I were, actually, he brought it up. He said he was going to get him a shirt soon from Last Exit to Nowhere, I think that's what the company's called. They have pretty cool shirts too. They're on the expensive side, but so are Fright Rags. But that might be one company for you guys to check out too if you're into the t-shirts. And you have not seen their stuff. But I've seen Gutter Garbs and Cavity Colors. I've seen their stuff. I just haven't actually gotten around to buying anything from either one of them. John, you say, it's odd how Scream Factory doesn't bother getting some better titles now that Arrow or Vinegar gets. I don't hate Scream Factory, but they just haven't been trying as hard. John, I'm in the same boat as you are. I don't hate Scream Factory, but I sometimes wonder why it seems like they changed their formula. Whereas at one time, it seemed like they were getting anything and everything they could get their hands on, and now it seems like they're slowing up. And I don't know if some of that has to do with the wear and tear on everybody that the pandemic has, the toll the pandemic has taken on everybody, on all businesses pretty much, and has severely decimated the economy and I mean, maybe Screen Factory's thinking, well, maybe people don't have the money to spend on our titles now, so maybe we shouldn't try as hard. I mean, I really couldn't say what's going on there, but I definitely do feel the same way you do about that. But you say the Escape from New York 4K was awesome. I would like to get that one. I actually don't have that. But I bet it is awesome. But what I was going to say earlier, I'm glad that you guys, put some things in the chat for me to comment on, because I do like to do that too. But somebody had mentioned a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago or something, when I was at the tail end of one of Steve's live streams, and they mentioned that they'd like me to talk about video store memories. And I'm not going to go on about it for a long, long time, because it is about 7:30 now. And I think Steve starts getting, he starts wanting to wind up his day, and if I'm back here doing this on his computer, then I holler at him to come and turn this stuff off, because I mean, with my setup, I know what to click on to stop this different stuff and things like that, but I just don't want to mess up any of his stuff. Um, so anyway, I don't want him to go in there and get relaxed, and then me holler at him to come and turn this off for the night. Um, so I will probably talk about that a little bit. Y'all feel free to keep putting things in the chat, and I will glance at the chat. I see Scott's put something in here right now. So we'll kind of switch back and forth. If you guys put something for me to comment on in the chat, then I will do that. And I'll talk a little bit about some of my video store memories, which any of you that have been in some of my live streams, which I do, again, guys, I promise I'm going to try to get back to doing live streams on a regular basis. I just, there were a couple of nights, couple of evenings last week, or this past week, that I come really close to turning on the old PC and then getting on there and doing something, and then I just got really tired and just got lazy, laid down on the couch, and then I didn't, pretty much, it just fizzled out. I didn't get to, and it's not because I don't want to do it. I really enjoy doing the live streams. It's just I don't know. I'm getting more situated at the job. I'm not sure why I'm still so wiped out. Other than the only thing I think of, my body has not gotten used to getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting the dogs all taken care of, and then getting myself ready for work. And then having to go to work, ride the bus and all that stuff. I kind of got lazy during the pandemic, or at the height of the pandemic. Well, at the height of the pandemic, I was working from home all the time, and then they started making us come back to the library, and so then I was having my neighbor's dad take me into work, so I wasn't having to get up as early, and it was a whole. Now it's just a vicious circle. I should have never done it. I should have, when I started going back to the library on a regular basis, I should have just went back to taking the bus. But anyway, looks like several of you guys have put some things in the chat here. Scott, you say Scream Factory has to answer to Shout Factory as opposed to these companies where it's just one guy running the show. Yeah, I agree with that. Dirk, you say Cavity Colors has some badass shirts right now. Phantasm, Evil Dead, and American Werewolf. Ooh, cool. Actually, I want to say I don't think I have a Phantasm or an American Werewolf shirt, so those might be two that I might want to look into. Well, hello, Mr. Fry. Were you in here earlier and I just didn't see you? But you say Gutter Garbs and Fright Rags are having sales right now. Most of the really good stuff is sold out, though. Yeah, I don't think I got in on the sale for Fright Rags, other than getting the lounge pants at $20. But that's another reason why I bought so many shirts when I bought the ones I got, because of they almost guaranteed chance that they're going to sell out. And speaking of shirts, Aaron, I wanted to ask you about, and I don't know if I've asked you about this before, but I think one of the last live streams you and Wes and Garrett did, you had this Return of the Living Dead shirt on, I believe, that was like tie-dye purple. And I was just wondering where you got that one at. If that one was like a Gutter Garbs or are cavity colors or if it was just something else. Um, just out of curiosity. Sean, you said my grandpa owned a small video store and ice cream parlor during the mid 80s to about 1993 when he closed the doors. Yeah, it's sad that a lot of these, I call them mom and pop stores, didn't get to stay around. It seemed like once we got out of the 80s, they started to slowly fizzle out. Um, Darren, you say you rewatched Mountaintop Motel Massacre again last night, and it's a really creepy, underrated slasher. I'm enjoying going back to some of these older films. Darren, you and I again seem to be on the same wavelength because that's what I've been doing too. And speaking of Mountaintop Motel Massacre, I actually that was one I bought from Vinegar Syndrome, along with was it Horror High and Stanley, the double feature. That was the one I really wanted to get, but then I saw Mountaintop Motel Massacre. They had a Blu-ray of it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I actually wanted to get the limited edition slipcover, but they were sold out of that one, so I just got the standard edition. But yeah, I'm right there with you as far as wanting to watch, going back and rewatching some of the older movies, and sadly, I can't get Steve on that bandwagon. I mean, he'll watch some of the older movies that he likes, but Darren, you're actually talking about going back to some of the old slashers and stuff like that, and Steve's like, he's kind of moving past this slasher phase, and I'm kind of just stuck right there in the middle of it and don't want to leave. And I mean, I don't think he means any harm, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm watching one of these old slashers, he'll say, dang, you watched that a million times and that's a piece of shit. He says that's all you want to seem to want to watch. And he generally doesn't want to sit down and watch this stuff with me. So, I'm kind of left on my own to watch that. John, you say, yeah, when I saw Vinegar got the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, that was puzzling. You'd think Shout Factory had plenty of money to buy that rights back, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird state of affairs. I can't really pinpoint one thing. All I can do is speculate on things. But I don't know what's going on there. Aaron, you say it was either cavity colors or gutter garbs. Not sure which one. Yeah, well, I may have to check into that. Probably, knowing my luck, whichever one it was from is probably sold out now. But I did notice that shirt, and I thought it was pretty cool. Well, Darren, I mean, I think Steve used to be in a slasher phase pretty much a lot of the times, but now there's nothing wrong with you or I, or anybody else that likes those old slashers. But for some reason, Steve seems to have kind of moved out of that realm into this other realm of watching a lot of this new stuff takes up too much of his time, and it seems like he generally doesn't want to go back to the old stuff anymore unless it is an Argento movie or Paul Naschy movies or something like that. You won't catch him going back to the Friday the 13th or the Nightmare on Elm Street or Prom Nights, or generally you're not going to find me going back to those movies. Scott, you say the Dawn of the Dead debate. Who's right, UB or Joe? Well, before I answer that, Scott, can you fill me in a little bit on what the debate is on that Dawn of the Dead? I mean, is it a case of where Joe's saying the original Dawn of the Dead is a piece of shit or something, because I know UB loves the original Dawn of the Dead. He's, as long as I've known him, I know he really likes that movie. So, I don't know. Give me a little more information, and I'll respond on that. Um, John, you say, LOL, I'm always in a blood diner phase, wacky horror. Well, John, I like the wacky horror too. I feel like, every once in a while, Steve gets in a mood where he'll want to watch one of those wacky ones that he hasn't ever seen before, like the LA AIDS jab or whatever, which is actually a shot on video film. And he'll just sit down and watch one of those. But again, he is the ones that we've all seen over and over and over again. He's just kind of moved away and shifted gears on that kind of stuff. Dare you say no one is right, but I lean with Joe. Okay. So, I mean, just refresh my. Oh, okay. I see what Scott said here. Let's see. UB and Joe did a commentary on Dawn of the Dead where UB loves it, Joe hates it. Okay. Well, I would have to side with UB on this one. I mean, I love Joe to death, but I even before I knew about DEADPIT or heard about them talking about Dawn of the Dead and UB talking about his love of this movie and his history of watching it with his dad and stuff like that. I always did love Dawn of the Dead, and I also funnily enough, I have a connection with Dawn of the Dead and my dad. Not like a strong a connection that UB did with his dad, but I remember Dad sitting down and actually watching the original Dawn of the Dead with me, and us having a pretty good time. It was kind of like the Jaws experience. When I was living at home with my parents, every time Jaws would come on, my dad and I would watch it. So we had that same kind of like fun experience watching the original Dawn of the Dead. So that is why I would say I'd have to side with UB on that one. Darren, you say, I love Night of the Living Dead, and Day of the Dead is one of my favorite zombie films. I just can't get into Dawn of the Dead. I found it slow and boring. Argento cut makes it watchable. Yeah, I could see that, Darren, because with Dawn of the Dead, I'm talking about the original cut, not the Argento cut. I'll be honest, there are long stretches where you probably feel like, what the heck are these people doing? They're just kind of hanging out in this mall. But then I think, what would you really do if you were trapped by hordes of zombies and you basically were trapped in a mall? What else would you have to do except what they do? Go into the stores and kind of like have your own personal shopping spree, only you don't have to pay for anything. And you can even see the characters within the film going through a sense of boredom. And so I think that probably carries over to the audience. But it's been a while since I've seen the Argento cut of that, and perhaps Argento maybe cut out some of those long stretches in the mall where they're just kind of trying on clothes and getting TVs and doing these mundane things in many ways. And maybe Argento's cut was a little bit more straightforward, boom, 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 instead of having long stretches where there wasn't a lot of action. Let's see. Jason, you say I'm with you, be 100%. But if that's Joe's real opinion, he's entitled to it. Exactly. Yeah, I've said that before. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Uh, John, you say Day of the Dead is my favorite, mainly just the human element, but Dawn is classic too. Darren, you say, Dana, we disagree on a film. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Maybe the only other film we disagree on is Torso, maybe. uh, Dirk, you say Night of the Living Dead and Day are awesome. Um, I personally I can't find any issues with any of those early films. It's the later Dead films that Romero was making that I have the problem with. Um, and because I didn't like Diary of the Dead, I don't even know if I watched like Land of the Dead and stuff. It's like those people in Diary of the Dead to me were just so obnoxious and so, in my opinion, uninteresting. And I got to the point where it was like a lot of the new slasher films or a lot of the new horror films in general that the characters were so unlikable that you just wanted the zombie horde to just take them all out, and just get it over with. Uh, and I don't know whose fault that was. I mean, that could have been studio pressure. I'm not going to put the blame all on George Romero, of course. Um, unfortunately, we don't know all of the inner workings of how those later films were created or how much pressure was being put on George Romero by the people that had the money. Um, and, see, unfortunately, that's what happens when you get the money men involved. When Romero started out and he was pretty much independently making these movies, they're a lot better than when a guy is standing there with cash in his hand, but he says, I'll give you this. It's like putting a carrot in front of a horse or a mule. They're saying, I'll give you this money so you can make the best film possible, but you got to make it my way. You got to play by my rules, and if you don't, I will take the money away. So I'm not sure 100% if that's what happened to Romero, but it's certainly a possibility. Um, let's see. Aaron, you say, if anything, Day is more boring than Dawn. And Aaron, I have heard that from uh, more than one person, actually. Um, it seems like I was having a discussion with my same coworker at the new job, who's also a woman, but we have a lot in common as far as likes and dislikes, and we kind of vary a little bit, of course, on certain things. Um, but I was thinking she was the one that brought up that Day of the Dead was boring to her. So that's definitely out there. Some people do feel that way. Um, and Aaron, you said the Argento cut doesn't make a lick of sense. It's like his style of editing where the transitions have no context, and I could see that as well. Um, John, you say, who doesn't love Ken Foray, Kung Fu and the zombies at the end of the scene, in my opinion. Jason, you say, Day has grown on me, but I found it disappointing for a long time. I thought Bub and the mad scientist were silly. Rhodes was too shrimpy to be in the military and way overacted. Uh, Darren, you say, I will go back to Dawn again. It's a film I want to love. Who knows, it just may click with me one day. I'm glad too, Darren, that you brought up that terminology. It's a film I want to love, That's how I felt about Drag Me to Hell. I wanted to love that movie, but no matter how hard I tried, I could not love that movie. It was made by my all-time favorite, or one of my favorite horror directors, and I so much wanted. It hurt so bad that I could not love that film. But there was just something. Well, there were several somethings, in my opinion, about that film that made it a movie that I never wanted to watch again, and I have not watched it again. Uh, Jason, you say, also, I was hoping to see a whole world of zombies, but instead we were stuck in a tiny bunker. Um, you say, anyway, has grown on me by comparison to Land, Survival, Diary. It's a freaking masterpiece. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, Land and Survival were both the ones I didn't see, and that was because I think for me that was again because Diary was so horrible to me. Um, Dirk, you say it's funny how these great directors seem to shine when they have less money. Exactly, Dirk. I've said that before. Give somebody little or no money, and they'll make a freaking masterpiece. And you give them money or dangle money in front of them, and it comes out all shitty. So, yeah, I say for filmmakers now, try to do it on the least amount of money that you can, and don't depend so much on the money guys. Red, you say, did Night of the Living Dead 2 ever get released? Um, Not that I know of, Red, but that it's a possibility that it did and it slipped under my radar. I mean, that's entirely possible. Um, Jason, you say I agree with you on Drag Me to Hell 100%. Well, I'm glad to hear, usually when I tell people I hated Drag Me to Hell, they're like, but why? Why did you hate that movie? And I hear that about a lot of different films that I'm just so against. And again, I don't begrudge anybody liking any of these films that I dislike. But I will be brutally honest with you. If you ask me about something, if I think something's a piece of shit, I'll tell you I think it's a piece of shit. But you can like it all you want. But I can't. There's only so far I can go into trying to make myself like something. Um, and if I give something a try and I hate it and I give myself a space of time and I go back and I still hate it, it's like with Torso. I said I watched that movie 3 or 4 different times and I still hated it every time. I could not get behind that film. But then you ask somebody like Steve or you ask Darren, who are, they really enjoy the film Torso. Um, so, I can't begrudge anybody's right to like something. And I would hope they wouldn't begrudge me my ability to dislike something. Um, Darren, you say the way you feel about Drag Me to Hell, I feel about the Evil Dead remake. Well, I'm very against the Evil Dead remake too. It just makes me cringe every time I think of that remake. And I don't ever see myself going back and rewatching that movie. I mean, I even leave the room if Steve has it on because he likes it. And again, I don't begrudge his freedom to like this movie. But I find nothing enjoyable, nothing fun at all about that remake. Aaron, you say Drag Me to Hell was odd because it had all the elements you would think would make it great, but it was hollow somehow and unlikable. You hit the nail on the head, Aaron. It's because it had all the hallmarks of that we loved from the Evil Dead movies. but it seemed like they were so out of place in this movie. It almost seemed like somebody was trying too hard to make you like this movie by saying, "Oh, let's throw a bunch of Evil Dead elements in here." But then, you kind of drew people in with the promises of Evil Dead similarities, and then you've got these horrible, horrible characters in the movie. I was like, oh my God. Wasn't Justin Long in that movie? Because I think he was, and I hated his character in there. And I hated the girl's character as well. I can't even remember who played the female character in there. Maybe somebody can refresh my memory. But, yeah. Dirk, you say, best part of Drag Me to Hell was the possessed goat. LOL. Well, the possessed goat was pretty... that by itself was pretty cool, I guess. Aaron, you say Italian films, especially giallos, take several watches sometimes. There's a lot visually going on, and the plots are often confusing at first. Yeah, and I feel like giallos are like putting together a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. There's always more to discover the more you watch these, especially something like Argento films. It's like peeling away the layers of an onion. Every time you watch one of his giallos, you find something else. It's like, I didn't remember that before, or at least that's how it is for me. In Texas, you say Drag Me to Hell was definitely bad. Aaron, you say, yeah, both leads kind of sucked. Yeah, and two, I think, I want to say that's another movie that Steve enjoys. And I think he's confused that I don't like it. Honestly, I tried to like it, guys. I really did. I wanted to. It was a Sam Raimi film. And, but sometimes no matter how hard you try, you just can't like it. And Steve sometimes says I don't try, or I don't give a movie enough of a chance. But when, like, going back to the Evil Dead remake, when you go to the movies and you pay money to get a ticket to watch a movie, and you go in there with pretty even expectations, and then at the end of the film you're just dazed that it was that bad, and took you in to a place where you are unsure of why this movie ever got made, why Sam Raimi would give his blessing, why Rob Tappert would give his blessing, why any of those guys would give their blessing for somebody to make something with the Evil Dead name that was so far removed from the Evil Dead that it wasn't even funny. I mean, why, one big thing that bothered me is it seemed like they tried to turn that movie into a service message for a public service message for drug abuse. And it was like, what the hell? The original Evil Dead movie had nothing to do with drug abuse. It had to do with demons basically taking over people's bodies. And I'm not saying that a remake has to be a shot-for-shot remake, but at least have some kind of similarity to the original film. If you're gonna call the movie The Evil Dead, then for God's sake, have some small similarity to the original film. But again, that's my opinion. Dirk, you say, I agree, UB. Jolly films need multiple watches to fully grasp the content. Darren, you say, totally. I think Jallo films have so much rewatchability factors. I think that's why I like them so much, because you can never get bored with them, because you're always finding something new every time you watch them. Aaron, you say, speaking of which, news just dropped that some company is releasing 5 of his films in 4K. Any guesses as to what and which company? I'm not even going to go there. Aaron, I'll let somebody else make some guesses. Uh, Dirk, you say Scheme Factory? Um, but I was just, now for some reason I can't see. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to keep an eye on my time here because Steve's being awfully quiet back there, so I don't know if he's dozed off or what. But I see in the chat that some of you have shared some video store memories, and feel free to keep sharing those, or just like sharing this similar stuff to what we've been talking about, because at least that gives me something to talk about and keeps me more on topic and keeps me from rambling too much and boring the hell of you guys. So I will say that when I started going to video stores and when my family first got a VCR, and I will say my family was very late adopters as far as getting a VCR. It seemed like anybody and everybody had a VCR before my family did.
You gonna keep going?
Maybe for a few more minutes.
All right, baby.
Oh, Steve's. You wouldn't want to cut my hair off, would you?
No.
Steve doesn't like my hair short, by the way. That's kind of off topic, but anyways. As I was saying, my family was very late in adopting the VCR technology. By the time that my dad purchased a VCR for the family, he got our first VCR from Service Merchandise. I don't remember or I don't know how many of you guys remember Service Merchandise, or even if I don't know how widely known Service Merchandise was, but in Owensboro, which was about 30 minutes from my mom and dad's house, there was a Service Merchandise store at that point in time. I don't think it's open anymore, but when I was a lot younger, about 12 or so, it was open, and that's where I almost said Steve. That's where Dad got the family's first VCR, and it was kind of one of those things where he wanted to surprise everybody at Christmas. So he told my brother and I that it was a Christmas present for my mom, when in reality it was a Christmas present for the entire family. He just didn't want to spoil the surprise. So we were really surprised when Christmas morning came and like Mom actually opened the present, and we were like, wow, VCR, because I knew about VCRs and stuff, and I knew about Betamax early on because my aunt and uncle were able to obtain a Betamax player early on. And they got a few of the Betamax tapes and watched movies that way. So I was familiar with that technology. Of course, we all know how it turned out. VHS pretty much cornered the market. Even though it has been said over and over that the Sony Betamax was a lot better quality than VHS. And so we were just so excited, and we went as soon as we could to the local video store. And there were a lot of like local, like mom and pop stores at the time, and also there were a lot of grocery stores that had videos that you could rent. And this was back in the days when buying a video was extremely expensive and probably not something that you were going to be doing, at least on a regular basis. I used to moon over the titles in the back of Fangoria and Gorezone magazine. I think both of the magazines had ads for VHS tapes, and they would generally cost you $70 to $100. And I just used to moon over those titles, wishing that there would come a day when I could actually buy these and own them myself. And of course, that time eventually came. But this was in the early days of the video store days and stuff like that. And so, as soon as we could, we scrambled out to the local video store. And I even remember the first movie that I rented to watch in our new VCR, and that was Witchboard, Kevin Tenney's Witchboard. So I got that one, and my brother got the Transformers movie, the animated movie, and I remember him being so excited because he got to hear him say "damn" in that movie. So that's definitely something that I remember. And then because the technology was so new to my family, it became almost a daily until we started watching so many different movies that it turned into more weekly. And then as time went on, you would go, every few weekends and stuff and get like, there was a video store over in Tell City, Indiana, which is about 15 minutes away from the house or so, 15-20 minutes. And there was a store at that time called Video Vault, and you could get 7 movies for 7 days for $7. And I really I really would rack up the movies on definitely. They had a very large horror section at that time, and that was what introduced me to movies like The Burning. Because let me tell you about The Burning. I don't know how many of you remember in the video store days seeing the cover, the VHS cover for The Burning. It's not very elaborate, and you would almost miss it in the sea of all these other VHS covers. But I just my eyes having to fall on that VHS cover, and I was like, at first look at it, it just looks like a couple that's in the water, embracing, but when you look closer, you see the outline of the Cropsey character with the garden shears raised up above this couple that's embracing in the lake. And I saw that, and I flipped it over and was reading the plot synopsis and found out that Tom Savini did the special effects. I was like, why have I never heard of this movie? And so that was one that I actually took home, one of the 7 movies at that time. And I've been a fan of The Burning ever since. I was like, where's this movie been hiding all my life, So let me read a few more things here before I get too carried away talking about video store memories. Darren, you said we had a small shop renting films way back in, say, 1980. The woman owner was a friend of the family. So at 9 years old, I was renting The Exorcist, The Changeling, and all the sex comedies like Porky's. Yeah, I mean, I can't say I was 9 years old when I watched that stuff. I was much older when I finally got to watch The Exorcist. But that was a movie that I'd heard my parents talk about. They actually saw The Exorcist at a drive-in. Another couple went with them, and my dad likes to tell funny stories about the drive-in days. And he said the other couple, the woman in this other couple was fine with the movie, but the guy kept covering his face all the time. And at that time, movies like The Exorcist, anything about demon possession or anything like that didn't bother my dad. But over the years, he got where, he said it gave him the heebie jeebies. Like, we were watching The Conjuring a few years back, me and my mom. I was actually, I Steve and I were married, but I think maybe we were spending the night with my mom and dad or something. And Steve had already gone to bed, and I was sitting up watching The Conjuring with my mom. And I think that was her first viewing of The Conjuring. And Dad came in to the room. I don't know if he was working a late shift or what, but he was like, "This movie gives me the heebie-jeebies, Dana." So any of that stuff about possession or anything like that, now it kind of gives Dad, like he said, the heebie-jeebies, and he really doesn't want to watch that. But in his younger days, he would basically watch anything and everything. But I don't want to say that my dad introduced me to sex comedies like Porky's, but I do remember my dad renting Porky's. And I don't know if he had seen it previously, like maybe seen it at a drive-in or something. But he was definitely familiar with that formula. But, I won't say that I was introduced to those by my dad, but they were things that I knew that he watched and he thought was funny. And so when I got a little bit older, I started, watching movies like that, like Porky's and Fast Times at Ridgemont High and stuff like that. Darren, you say, I think we was one of the first to get a VCR, a big front loader with piano keys. Do you remember, Darren, the top loader? See, we never had a top loader at my house or my parents' house, but my cousin and her family did, because they were really early adopters of anything and everything like gadget technology related, because her dad was like really into that stuff. So they had a personal computer way before my family did or I did. She had a Gateway computer way back when, and then before that, like an IBM compatible computer. So they had a top loading VCR way before we got a front loading VCR. Jason, you say, my family was strict, so when I was a kid, I could only rent stuff like Legend of Bogey Creek and had to sneak off to a friend's house to watch Friday the 13th. Made it more exciting. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. My parents were not strict on me at all as far as what I was allowed to watch. Like I said, I was around 12 or so when we got our first VCR, and I had been going to my aunt and uncle's house prior to us getting a VCR, and had already, seen a lot of different slasher films and stuff like that at the time. And Mom never told me specifically, and Dad didn't either, that I couldn't watch certain material. Now, I've said this before, too. Movies like I Spit on Your Grave. Hold on just a second.
I got it.
Scared me, Steve. Steve scared the crap out of me. But, what was I talking about? But when my parents rented I Spit on Your Grave for the first time, this was the one and only movie I ever remember my parents, perhaps Last House on the Left as well, because that was in that same subgenre of rape revenge movies, of them asking me to wait on those. And I understand that now. when I was, 12, 13 maybe. I didn't really understand. I just thought I was missing the greatest horror movie ever made. Because it's different when you can only hear audio coming from the movie and you don't know what context it is or anything because you're in your room with the door shut. Um, and I was kind of the same way with my brother. When I got old enough to actually watch I Spit on Your Grave and be able to comprehend everything in an adult fashion, my brother was quite a bit younger because there's 6 years between us, and he was in my room using the PC, and I had just gotten a clamshell VHS of I Spit on Your Grave that I purchased from Amazon, and I asked him to keep his back turned because I don't know, I just felt uncomfortable with my brother sitting in there and watching this rape revenge movie with me. But let's see. Darren, you say, I remember renting The Burning, then the video Nasty spoiled everything. Yeah, I feel really bad for you guys in the UK because that whole thing, I just cannot imagine if that had happened in the United States. I mean, just the thought of people being like arrested for having these movies, it's like, what in the hell? Why was this such a big deal? Darky say, I remember when we got a Magnavox floor TV 28-inch with the flip top VCR. It was the greatest day of my 6-year-old life. LOL. I think when, excuse me, I think when we first got a VCR in my home, even though I'd previously gone to my aunt and uncle's and watched movies on a VCR, it was definitely one of the highlights of my young life. Was getting that VCR. The freedom it gave to you to be able to watch these movies that in your own home. You didn't have to go to the drive-in. You didn't have to go to the movie theater. You could just watch them at home and enjoy them. Now, I'm not saying that I don't love to go to movies. I do love to go to movies. And I still like to go to the drive-in. Very much so. But sometimes it's just more convenient, especially for families, to just stay home and watch a movie on VHS. Darren, you say, I was taken aback when one night I rented I Spit on Your Grave. I felt so bad watching it. It almost felt like a porno to a 9-year-old. How on earth were you guys able to watch this stuff at 9 years old? I just don't. I mean, I'm thinking about that particular movie, I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left and stuff, the similar type of films like that. I think at 9, my parents would have felt the same way about it. But like I said, those were the only types of movies that they asked me to wait on. Most everything else I was able to see. Oh, yeah, okay. You say sorry. I meant Top Loader. Doug, you say, I think the first film I watched on a VCR was Gone with the Wind because my mom loves that movie. But I got to watch anything pretty much, so I would rent the most insane, gory shit I could. Oh my gosh, we would get, we'd get the wildest stuff. When I think about it now, I was like, what were we thinking? Because we got things like Cannibal Ferox at the local video store under the title Make Them Die Slowly. And I don't know if I've told this story before, but it's like me and my dad. I know me and my dad and my brother watched that under the Make Them Die Slowly title. I can't remember if Mom watched it with us. I want to say she did, but I'm not 100% sure. And I just remember my dad trying to talk like those the cannibals. Like he said, they said "qua," and he was like, my dad. He's a funny guy. I wish that all of you guys could get to meet my dad, um, because in my opinion, my dad's a really cool guy. I mean, not that he didn't have to discipline me and my brother sometimes, but he was just he was a fun dad, and he's still a fun dad. He still says things that just make me laugh. But I remember watching stuff like Make Them Die Slowly, aka Campbell Ferox, and you wouldn't think these would be a movie. This type of film would not be a movie that you'd watch as a family, but we did. We did that one. We did Reanimator. There were tons of those movies like that during those video store days we sat down and enjoyed as a family. But I remember us, after we watched that movie, we decided to go shopping or something. And I remember my dad just going like blah 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 qua, and then jumping off the step. It's like, I don't know. I don't. It's funny the things that you remember when you were about 12, or in some of your guys' cases 9. But it just was a such a fun, innocent time, and I don't think we'll ever get those times back. Um, which is sad. And kids now don't get that luxury, I don't think, of having a fun, innocent time, um, anymore. So it's just sad. But I don't want to get everybody too bummed out. Dougie say first time I saw Friday 13th was on my cousin's laser disc player. Yeah, I was a very late adopter of laser discs. I had a laser disc player. I think I brought it from my mom and dad's house to our house now, me and Steve's house, when we got married, or maybe just after we got married. There's still some of my shit that's at my mom and dad's house. I was actually talking to my mom on the phone today, and she said, "Yeah, there's a whole plastic tote of your horror T-shirts here." And I was like, "Really?" It's probably all those ones that I know I have, but I thought I'd brought them with me, and didn't know where they were, and I guess they're at my mom and dad's. But hold on just a second, guys. I'm gonna have to let Brandon in because he's having a fit. Wait, Rich. Poor old Brandon. I don't know if Steve. Sorry about that, guys. Steve's kind of yelling at Sammy because Sammy gets in these barking fits, and then you can't get him to be quiet. But I don't know if Steve told y'all earlier. It probably didn't come up. But Brandon had a vet visit for a checkup today, and he's been kind of not out of sorts, but when dogs get shots or get multiple shots, sometimes they feel kind of funky later. So I think that's what he's going through. Bless his heart. But but anyway, back to the chat here. Um, let's see. Hey, Robin from England. Darren, you say your parents didn't know you were watching these? Probably, I would suspect not. Okay, well, Curly Jaws, I actually will agree with you on Bloodhook. Um, Bloodhook is to me a humorous, wacky classic, that I could watch anytime. I've actually been meaning to get it out and watch it again here recently. That's what I was telling Darren earlier, he was talking about being on an old slasher kick. And, I would consider this one an old slasher. I'd almost like to have like a Blood Hook, Blood Lake double feature. And Steve's probably, if he's hearing me say this, he's probably thinking, oh my God. But anyway, but yes, I know I don't agree with you on too many movies, oh Curly Jaws, but you brought up one of my favorites there with Blood Hook. Darren, you say, I remember watching Cannibal Holocaust on fifth generation bootleg. It kind of added to the film at the time. Oh, but definitely. I mean, especially considering the fact that people were under the assumption that that was a snuff film, that those actors really died during the making of that. Now, Cannibal Holocaust, I think for me, was one that I ended up watching by myself the first time I watched it. Cannibal Ferox or Make Them Die Slowly was one that my entire family, I believe, watched. But I think by the time I discovered Cannibal Holocaust, things had kind of slowed down in my household as far as us getting a lot of movie rentals. Darren, you say Curly Jaws, that's one I bought in the sale blind buy. Have you watched it yet, Darren? I'd like to know what your thoughts are on it. Curly Jaws, you say, oh, so Auntie Lee's Meat Pies is also amazing. I like Auntie Lee's Meat Pies too. I need to go back and rewatch that one again. Evil Abe, you want to know what my favorite horror movie is? Well, I like a lot of different horror movies, but anybody that is familiar with my screen name of Evil Dead Chick, that gives you a huge. Oh, thank you, Evil Abe.
Evil Abe's hot and spicy boiled peanut wag in super shattered $2.
We appreciate that. But anyway, like I was saying, Evil Dead, of course, is my favorite horror movie. I have a lot of favorite horror movies, but that would have to be my all-time favorite movie. And that's the original Evil Dead, not that horrible remake. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say Blood Hook could have been a franchise. I could have seen that, but personally, I'm glad that they stopped at just the one, because that, to me, that's what makes it so classic and kind of makes it stand out. If there had been a franchise, I'm afraid that a lot of things would have fell by the wayside. Scott, you say watch Auntie Lee's Meat Pies on Tubi. It's fun. Yeah, I would definitely refer to it as a fun film. Robin, you say the 80s was a golden era, never to be replicated. I still watch them to this day, even though folk constantly say, why am I watching this crap? I was like a kid in a candy store with all these titles. Robin, I'm the same way, and still yet the same way about a lot of these titles, especially the ones from either mid to late. Some of them from the early 70s, but the 80s definitely was a golden era. Darren, you say not seen Blood Hook yet. You need to watch that. Maybe you can watch that one this weekend, Darren. Curly Jaws, you say she loves the Evil Dead remake. No, I don't. You will never hear me utter those words, I promise you. Evil Avy say nice choice. Loved Army myself. Now Army of Darkness is fun. That original trilogy, can't even talk. That original trilogy, um, is just one awesome package. I could watch those movies, any of them in the trilogy, any day of the week, and never ever get bored of them. Uh, let's see. Oh goodness. Well, guys, I will. I'm gonna probably have Steve coming because it is now like 8:32. um, I think I'm gonna have Steve cut this off for the night, and I will, try to continue this video store memories because this has been a lot of fun talking. We everybody, it seems like, pretty much has shared some of their video store memories, and we've been able to have a lot of back and forth. I'm sorry for you guys that came in a little bit late, but I do want to continue this, whether it'll be on my live stream or at the tail end of Steve's next live stream. I can't tell you. But I think he said that we were going to be out of town. We'll be visiting my parents this next weekend, so he will not be doing a show. So, or I suspect that's what he said, that he would not be doing a show. So I'm not sure if I'll be doing it on the tail end of his next live stream or I will be doing it on my live stream. But I do want to share a few more video store memories with y'all because it's been a lot of fun. Evil Abe, I do enjoy other genres. Favorite comedy, that is really difficult for me, honestly, because I have so many favorite comedies. But Summer School is one of my favorites because it kind of ties in comedy with horror, because if you haven't seen it, you really should, especially if you're a horror fan, because there's two characters, Chainsaw and Dave, in that movie, that everybody that's a horror fan will love those two characters. Curly Jaws, you said the only good one in the trilogy was Army of Darkness, and I thought the TV show was excellent. But those first two films are boring, and the remake was a classic. Well, like I say, Curly Jaws, you are entitled to your own opinion on that, and I will not begrudge you liking that remake. But again, I will never sit down and watch that remake again. And I love all three of the original the Evil Dead trilogy. And I also liked the television show as well. Oh, I hope to see you next time, Evil Abe. Well, you're welcome, Robin. I hope you are able to join us again the next time we do one of these. Thank you, Evil Abe. I will share that with Steve. You count us as OG DEADPIT. You have a good one too, Darren, and I hope to, or I'm looking forward to talking to you in about another week. You and Dirk and me and Steve. Oh, so Evil Abe, you're familiar with Summer School. Awesome. Yes, Robin, Mark Harmon. You're welcome, Jason. I hope the next time I do a stream, it's fun too. Right now, Curly Jaws, I can't comment on Evil Dead Rising. yet. I'll have to get back to you on that. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about how that one is going to go as well. But I'm going to give Steve a holler here. And thank you guys all for joining me again or sticking around after Steve was done. Um, it makes it all worth it, that you guys don't just all run away whenever I come on the scene. Uh, but hey, Steve, I'm done. Steve's coming in here, so there he is. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Maybe not next weekend, but sometime.
No, not next weekend. Got super chat money.
Hey, congratulations.
$2.
All right. See you around, guys. Talk to you later. And next weekend we'll record with Dirk and Eurocult. Peace.